Eternal Atake was and still is an absolutely legendary album. For people my age, it became a true anthem of the pandemic, dropping in March right before the world completely shut down. I personally remember the insane hype and millions of memories I made to this album during COVID, and tons of people share my experience. So now, on the cusp of the release of its long-awaited sequel, let's take a look back and forward and talk about why Eternal Atake 2 needs to deliver. In March of 2020, the world was blessed with the original Eternal Atake. It had been nearly 3 years since the release of Love Is Rage 2, which is personally my favorite Lil Uzi album, and the world was practically begging for more, and Eternal Atake absolutely delivered. It was weird as hell and had the most strange samples anyone had ever heard of, like ray guns and shit. But who else other than Uzi is doing that? It was so strange, and it was so Lil Uzi, and it came with a whole storyline about being abducted by aliens, and he even sampled his own hit XO Sewer Life. Don't get me wrong, the album itself had a lot of bangers, everything from Baby Pluto to Lo Mein to Prices. I mean, it's full of bangers. I think we can all look back and agree that this album was so fucking hard, which to be honest makes me a little bit scared for its sequel.
And then the aliens will come and we'll all die!
Bro, you do this shit every day.
No, we were... Oh, shit!
Sequels in general are incredibly risky, especially when you have such a critically acclaimed first piece of media. You can make an incredibly good sequel, but it's a lot easier to make a horrible one. My favorite example of that is the Pacific Rim franchise. I love the first movie. CGI is better than even some of the stuff that's coming out today. The acting is good, it's got insane world building, but my favorite thing is the cinematography. The second movie is kinda dog shit. No, it's just dog shit. It's horrible. The second movie loses so much that made the first one so good. The robots move too quickly in the second movie, and that makes them feel a lot lighter, which is not how it is in the first movie, and it makes them feel a lot heavier when they're in the first one. And secondly, a lot of time in the second movie they use camera angles that are kind of on a helicopter and also during the daytime. That's completely different from the first movie, and the reason that the robots look so big and are so imposing are that it's done from a POV camera of somebody on the ground. That means you always have a great scale of how enormous these things are supposed to be. That's not important. Anyway, the point is that when you try to make a sequel, you honestly can get really easily caught up in all the hype of the first one and just kind of ride that, and you lose what made the first movie so good. And then the fans get mad, and then it's just kind of a shit show. It's like getting complacent and just not delivering at all, or trying to do something so radically different that you just lose what made the first one so special. And that's what I'm worried about for Eternal Atake 2.
该崩醉的睡股券，尝一下吧。香香的了。
Eternal Atake was such a good album, and I am not entirely sure Uzi's going to clutch up with the sequel. Like, let's all be honest. Pink Tape was kinda shit. I'm not gonna lie, it was a total letdown. I remember listening to it for the first time, and specifically... and being like, what the fuck was that? It was a confusing mess, and it makes me really worried that Uzi won't be able to fully give us an Eternal Atake 2, or at least not a true Eternal Atake 2. I'm worried that we'll lose the alien theme, and it won't be as weird happy like as in Eternal Atake 1, but the kid with fingerless gloves in the corner weirdness of Pink Tape. I understand wanting something new, but trying to push boundaries too hard just leads to us losing what made the first album so good in the first place. And I know I keep saying that, but it's true. And now, I do have to give Uzi some credit. He's not new to sequels at all, and that gives me a little bit of hope for Eternal Atake 2. I mean, my favorite album by Uzi is a sequel, Love Is Rage 2, but we also have gotten some really solid sequels like Lil Uzi Vert vs. the World 2. Uzi has proven he knows how to make a good sequel, and frankly, it's almost becoming part of his brand. It's not like other artists can't make good sequels too. I mean, Savage Mode 2, DS2, those are two pretty good albums. And it's not like sequels are inherently bad, that's what I'm trying to say. My only fear is that Uzi has changed a lot since 2020. I feel like there's going to be a lot of things that are different in this album, and I'm scared we're going to lose what really made the first one so special. I feel like a lot of fans are looking more for a deluxe version of EA1 rather than something entirely new, which I think Uzi's going to try to do something new. In terms of his career, Uzi is kind of already on a downfall, not maybe a lot, but he's on the downward trend from Pink Tape, and if Eternal Atake 2 doesn't deliver, I'm not sure we'll ever get the prime Uzi back that we know and love. Another thing is that all of his fans, including myself, are super hyped up for this album. I think there's going to be a little bit of backlash here. I think people are going to, as they always do, overhype an album, and then when they hear the real thing, they're disappointed. And I feel like that's really going to come back onto Uzi. So regardless, Lil Uzi Vert, I know you're not ever going to see this, but please man, just make Eternal Atake 2 good. We're all counting on you.